What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Bit of Footy YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be running through my Week 3 preliminary finals tips for the 2024 AFL Final Series. How good is preliminary final week? Even my team not being in it, it just still gives me, that goosebumpy feeling. You just don't know what's going to happen. Anything could happen. There could be an upset here or there. There could be a really close game. But yeah, it should be a ripper of a preliminary final weekend, and it kicks off tonight. But yeah, we're going to be running through my tips for the preliminary final weekend. This video last week in the semi-final weekend, tipping wise, I did very average. I only got, well, actually no, I got 0 out of 2 tips correct last week in the semi-final weekend. Yeah, I tipped the Hawks to get up. They didn't get up. They only lost by 3 points in what was an amazing contest. And I tipped the Giants to get up, and they didn't get up either. They lost by 5 points. Brisbane were able to come back and win that game in the end by a margin of 5 points. Joe Danaher, he stood up, he took his moments and he guided the Lions through to a preliminary final. So yeah, 2 very close semi-finals, probably one of the best semi-final weekends we've seen in a little while in terms of how close each game's were, and the fact that Brisbane were like 40 points down, they managed to come back and win. Port Adelaide, they won their semi-final after losing by 84 points in the first week. So yeah, there was, it was just a great semi-final weekend. It kind of felt like a preliminary final weekend, but here we are. This is the actual preliminary final weekend, so hopefully we get a few close games out of the 2 games we get this week. But yeah, after getting 0 out of 2 tips last week in the semi-final weekend, I'm currently in 24th spot in my own tipping competition, and I'm on a total points tally of 125 points in total. In first spot, again, we do have Geordie Pluto, who, like myself, also got 0 out of 2 tips correct last week in the semi-final weekend. And Geordie Pluto is currently on 140 points in total, so fair play to you, Geordie. But if you had a look at my tipping competition last week, through the after the semi-final weekend, you would have realized that a lot of people actually did get 0 out of 2 tips correct. So yeah, hopefully that can change for a lot of us this week, and we can actually at least get 1 tip correct, or maybe even both tips correct, but we'll just have to wait and see. But let's not waste any more time. Let's take a look and see what my tips are for the preliminary final weekend of the 2024 AFL Final Series. Alright, kicking off the preliminary final weekend tonight, we have got the Sydney Swans taking on Port Adelaide at the SCG. Friday night footy should be a ripping contest. The Swans, they're coming off a week off, because they got the week off after winning their qualifying final against the GWS Giants by a margin of 6 points. Port Adelaide, they're coming off a win as well. They're coming off a 3-point win over the Hawthorn Hawks. That was a good turnaround for the Power after losing their first qualifying final against Geelong by an 84-point margin. So it was a good win for the Power, and now they are here in a preliminary final taking on the Sydney Swans at the SCG. It should be a ripping contest. The Swans, out of their last 5 games, have actually won 4 games in a row. The Power, out of their last 5 games, they've also won 4 games. It wasn't in a row. They had a loss, obviously, to the Cats, but they've won 4 out of their last 5 games, as well as Sydney have. So yeah, should be a ripping contest. We've got first versus second on the ladder in a final. So yeah, it's all heading towards a great game of footy. We all know, we've all heard this week about the ridiculous record that Port Adelaide have against Sydney. Now I know most of the games were at the Adelaide Oval, but some of them were in Sydney as well. So yeah, it should make for this one to be an absolute ripper of a game. First v second on the ladder. I mean, it's just going to be an absolute ripper, I reckon. I can't wait to see how it goes. Hopefully it is a close one, unlike the previous result that happened when these two teams last met, where the Power got up by 112 points over the Swans. The Swans only managed to kick 5 goals, 6 in that game. And yeah, their final score that night was 36 points in total, which is absolutely insane. And Port Adelaide, well, they managed to get 148 points in total, kicking 22 goals, 16 against the first place Swannies. What a win that was for them. Could they repeat the dose? Maybe. I reckon it's going to be a little bit closer this time, and I do reckon the reverse result will happen. I do think the Sydney Swans will get up this time. I'm tipping the Sydney Swans in this game by a margin of 11 points. I do think the Power are going to take it really up to the Swans. We obviously all know that the Swans notoriously don't have, you know, a good first quarter. They're not quick out the blocks. It normally takes the first quarter for the Swans to get back in the game, or even a last quarter comeback like they did against the Giants to win the game. So they're not notoriously fast starters, the Swans. Who knows, that could change in this game. They're fresh off a week off. The Power, they're coming off a 3-point testing game against the Hawks, so the Swans could be quick out the blocks, get out to a big lead, and maybe, you know, they could win by a big margin. I don't think that will be the case. I think the Power are going to give it their absolute all against the Swans in this game. Obviously, they don't have Todd Marshall, which is a big loss for them. But Charlie Dixon, hopefully in this game, he can play well and he can play better than he did in the first week where the Power got done by a margin of 84 points and he just had a pretty average game. He didn't kick a goal in that game. So if we can kick a goal early tonight, who knows, the Power could be on. If Dixon's on, the whole result could change. But I think the Swans at the SCG in front of their home fans will get the job done. I do think, yeah, it will be one of those games where the Power will stick with them, but the Swans will just, you know, be able to hold on, you know, kick a sealing goal in the end and win it by an 11-point margin. So yeah, I'm tipping the Swans in this preliminary final over the Power by a margin of 11 points, and for the Swans to move on to the 2024 AFL Grand Final. Alright, and the second preliminary final that we have for this weekend is Geelong taking on Brisbane at the MCG, 5:15 PM start time. I'll be there with Ethan and I'll be vlogging this game, so look forward to that video. Yeah, but should be a ripping preliminary final, this one. The Cats, they're coming off a week off after their 84-point win in that qualifying final that they had against Port Adelaide. The Lions, they're coming off a 5-point win against the Giants in what was an amazing semi-final win for the Lions. That one, they were down by like 40 plus points in that game, the Lions, and managed to get the job done somehow. Joey Danaher, he kicked the last 2 goals of that game in good fashion as well, and yeah, he guided the Lions across the line in an amazing comeback finals win for the Lions. So yeah, they're going to take a lot of confidence from that game heading into this one against the Cats, and it's going to be a scary sight for the Cats, this Lions side. You know, the Lions, they made the grand final last year and only lost it by a margin of 4 points. So yeah, they're going to be looking to make it again this year and actually get the win this time, the Lions, obviously. So yeah, they're going to just come out all guns a blazing, I reckon, the Lions, and just go full out attack full-on attack in this game against the Cats. But yeah, should be a very good final, this one. We all know that the Cats, when it comes to finals time, they just shine. They light it up. They won by a margin of 84 points away from home in Adelaide against the Power. So yeah, they're not going to be overly terrified against this Lions side, but yeah, should make for a very good contest, this one. The last 5 games that the Cats have played, they've won 4 out of their last 5 games. The last 5 games that the Lions have played, they've won 3 out of their last 5 games, but they've won 3 in a row coming into this game. So yeah, the form line on both teams is pretty decent. Especially for the Lions as well, coming in with 3 wins in a row. They're gonna, be feeling very confident about themselves. But the Cats, their form line is very good as well, winning 4 out of their last 5. So they're gonna come into this game with a lot of confidence as well, and they're coming off a week off as well. So yeah, it's gonna be a very good contest, this one. The last time that these two teams played each other was in round number 6, so a fairly long time ago, and it was at the Gabba. The Cats got the job done by, well, I don't know what that margin is. What is it, 26 points? That's it. Yeah, it says it right there. Actually, I'm just that stupid. But yeah, they got up by a margin of 26 points in that game. And I remember that game, actually, it was pissing down rain. It was not good weather at all. But the Cats, yeah, they were too good on the night and got the job done in that one at the Gabba. This one's at the G. Obviously, the Cats would have a lot more experience at the G than the Lions would. And, we all know the Lions at the G, they're a bit iffy. But I'm still going to tip them. I'm still going to tip the Lions to get the job done. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I'm doing this. This could really be a stupid tip, but I just feel like the Lions, like I said before, they're going to come out all guns are blazing. They're just going to, want to go full out attack on the Cats in this game. So yeah, I reckon the Lions, they're a big chance to win this game. Like I said before as well, they lost the grand final last year and they're hunting to get back into the grand final this year and get the win this time. So yeah, I reckon the Lions are going to do it. I reckon the Lions are going to do it. They're going to go back to the grand final this year, and yeah, I'm going to tip the Lions in this one by a margin of 4 points. I do think it's going to be a very close game of footy. The Cats in finals time, they're just very good. They just know what to do. But I feel like the Lions are just going to be very hungry to win this game and get into another grand final, and hopefully for their sake win it this time, because they came so close last year. But yeah, I think they're going to make it. I think the Lions are genuinely going to make the grand final this year. I do think it's going to be very close. It's a preliminary final. I can't see, a big margin happening in this game. But yeah, I think the Lions will get it done by a margin of 4 points in this one against the Cats. But yeah, those are all my tips done and dusted for the preliminary final weekend of the 2024 AFL Final Series. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your tips are for this weekend in the comments below. And yeah, like I said, I will be going to the Geelong versus Brisbane preliminary final at the MCG and doing a match day vlog of that one. So hopefully that should be out by like Sunday or Monday at the latest. It should be out Sunday really. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, cheers.